Part 184. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1831. Chapter 1831, Don't get used to their bad habits. Even Song Ke, Xiao Xiao, and the others didn't keep their mouths shut and ate a lot. On this kind of show, you can't keep dieting. Because I have to do physical work every day, and I don't have enough food, how can I have the energy to do those physical tasks? Song Ke and Jiao Angzhen had eaten a bag of instant noodles last night, and their stomachs were already growling with hunger. No one said they wanted to go on a diet anymore. After dinner, Renjun and Sumuafei took the initiative to wash the dishes as before. Jiao Mian stopped them. Renjun, please wait a moment. The people who were stopped were stunned for a moment and turned their heads to look at her. Jiao Mian looked at Jiao Angzhen and his group who had already stood up to leave, slowly raised the corners of her lips, and stopped them with a sneer. She made breakfast for 10 people because she considered the other members of the program team. Although Renjun Zhenbo and the others also ate ready-made meals, they still helped out. After eating, they even took the initiative to wash the dishes. Shenfei also asked to wash the dishes just now. It was just Jiao Angzhen and his group. After eating, they wiped their lips and left without caring about anything. It's like spending money to eat in a restaurant. Jiao Mian is not used to their bad habits. You three will wash the dishes and put them away today. Jiao Mian took the dishes and chopsticks that had just been put away from Zhanbo and put them on the table again. What? Song Ke was stunned for a moment, then opened his eyes wide. You want us to wash the dishes? Of course you wash the dishes. Jiao Mian looked at the others calmly. Yesterday it was Zhanbo and the others who washed the dishes. Today it's your turn. Jiao Mian, you are just the leader of your group, not the leader of all of us, right? Song Ke didn't take her words seriously at all, and said, funny, why do you speak to us in such a commanding tone? Arrange things for us. Just because you ate the food I cooked, Jiao Mian said lightly, you can choose not to eat, then you don't have to listen to my arrangements. Now that you have eaten, you can't do nothing. I'm not serving you. Or if you just spit out what you just ate now, you don't have to wash the dishes. Song Ke's expression suddenly changed. You didn't say we couldn't eat it, so we ate it? You cooked it for us voluntarily, but we didn't ask you for it. If you want to wash the dishes, you wash them yourself. I don't want to wash them. After Song Ke finished speaking, he turned around and left. Jiao Mian did not stop her again. She just said to the others, you have all heard that from tomorrow, Song Ke will not have breakfast with us. She looked at the remaining 2 people. Do you also have the same idea as Song Ke? Xiao Xiao looked at the camera set aside, was silent for a moment, and then stood up. I'll take care of it. She is not as stupid as Song Ke. She came on this show because she wanted to earn more fans and increase her popularity. She will definitely show off when it's time to show off. If she leaves directly like Song Ke, she will definitely ruin her popularity with passers-by. I'm with Xiao Xiao. Jiao Angzhen also stood up. She had the same idea as Xiao Xiao, she wanted to earn some performance. She looked gentle and virtuous, and said softly, sister, you worked hard cooking, let's wash the bowl should be there too. Jiao Mian didn't care whether Jiao Angzhen and Xiao Xiao were pretending. She nodded and said, well, you two will clean it up. Wash the bowls a little bit, and I'll come over to check them later. If they're not clean, they'll have to be reworked. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1832. Chapter 1832, Those who are poor and lazy are really hopeless. As soon as she finished speaking, the expressions on Xiao Xiao and Jiao Angzhen's faces froze. You still need to check. Xiao Xiao took a deep breath and asked, suppressing his dissatisfaction. Of course. The hygiene of the kitchen cannot be ignored. These dishes and chopsticks will be used the next day. How can you use them if you haven't washed them thoroughly? Xiao Xiao took a deep breath again, and said with a smile on his face, I know, we will clean it up. Asterisk. The second day's filming content was to help poor households in the village with hygiene and care. After completing the work, the poor households were asked to score, and the group with the highest score won. It is said that the head of the house that Jiao Mian and the others went to was a well-known bachelor in the village. Because he was too poor, he had not found a wife even in his 40s. That bachelor was poor and lazy. The local authorities had given him some support, such as giving him several lambs and piglets, and teaching him how to grow fruits and make money. But in the end, those little lambs and the little piggy were all changed hands and sold by him. The money from the sale was used for gambling and drinking wine. When he ran out of money, he started to make trouble again, clamoring and crying to compensate him and support him. Knowing that the person they were going to help today was such a person, Jiao Mian would not have wanted to go at all if it weren't for the arrangement of the program team. Helping the poor but not the lazy. If you give some poor people a hand, they may be able to get up and say goodbye to poverty. But those who are poor and lazy are really hopeless. There was no other way, the program team had arranged it, and Jiao Mian had to go. The bachelor lived not far from where they lived. It took about 10 minutes to walk and they were there. Jiao Mian looked at the dilapidated house in front of her and asked the photographer, is this right here? The photographer nodded. Sumuafei frowned when he saw it, this house is too dilapidated. Can anyone still live in it? You didn't hear what Brother Zhao said, this is the poorest family in the village. Do you still expect the place where he lives to be a good place? But this is too shabby. I think it's a dangerous building and it could collapse at any time. The group of people walked into the courtyard, and the moment they stepped in, they smelled a disgusting smell wafting out. I couldn't see it outside the yard, but when I walked in, I saw that the yard was a mess. Weeds grew everywhere, and there were piles of chicken and duck excrement on the ground. When the sun was baking, a suffocating odor wafted over, so stinky that Zanbo and the others almost vomited on the spot. Oh my God! Sumuafei covered his nose, not daring to take a breath, as if he would be fainted at any time. Is this a place where people can live? Doesn't the owner here even clean up? There was so much on the floor that I almost fainted. Jiao Mian was almost fainted. The piles of feces on the ground looked like they had not been cleaned for a long time. Perhaps it has never been cleaned. The yard is overgrown with weeds, and some of the weeds have grown outside the threshold of the house. It can be seen that the weeds have never been removed. Thinking of their mission today, her eyebrows twitched fiercely. She also felt that today's task was relatively simple, just cleaning, and she also wondered if the program team was too kind. Sure enough, she was still too naive. How could the program team be so kind? Chen Lao-san, why don't you come out yet? Big stars have come to your place, but you still haven't come out to pick up the guests. There were villagers who were watching the excitement and roared into the dark room. After yelling, he complained to Jiao Mian and the others, this Chen Lao-san is such a lazy person. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1833. Chapter 1833. I can't get rid of you no matter what. You won't get up unless you sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you know why he is still a bachelor in his 40s and cannot marry a wife? It is because he is lazy. This man is a capable man. He can make money by doing whatever he does. Why is he afraid that he won't be able to save enough money for his wife? But he is just a lazy guy. He just wants to make money by lying around all day long. He won't even take the jobs offered to him by others. Look at this yard, it's dirtier than my pigsty. What are you doing in a house like this? Chiao Mian opened her mouth, and just as she was about to speak, she saw the villager she had just spoken to turn his head and look forward, saying with a look of disgust, "Chen Lao-san, you are finally willing to give up. Tell me what you are. I'm not too lazy. I don't know how to clean up when there are guests at home." Chiao Mian raised her head and saw a person slowly walking out of the room. At first glance, she thought he was a homeless man. He is a middle-aged man with dark skin and clothes that have not been washed for an unknown period of time. He was about 1.7 meters tall. He looked dirty from head to toe. He wore a pair of rotten slippers on his feet and had a cigarette in his mouth. If he cracked his mouth, you could see his yellow teeth. From a distance, Chiao Mian seemed to be able to smell the unpleasant breath. The man's mung bean eyes were half open, as if he hadn't woken up yet. But the moment he saw Chiao Mian, his eyes suddenly straightened. After his eyes fell on Chiao Mian, he never looked away. He stared at her blankly. Chiao Mian was stared at like this, feeling as if something was stuck to her body and she couldn't get rid of it no matter how hard she tried. Especially uncomfortable. She frowned and endured the discomfort and looked away, but she could still feel that the man's eyes had not moved away from her and were still looking at her. At this time, Jean Bo came over, stood in front of her, and blocked her directly behind him. The sticky gaze that made her extremely uncomfortable was finally cut off. Chiao Mian felt warmed by Jean Bo's behavior as a gentleman. She pursed her lips and thanked him quietly behind him, "Jean Bo, thank you." Jean Bo looked back at her and whispered, "That old man's eyes are too lewd. You are the only girl in our group, we must protect you. Don't worry, no one dares to do anything to you as long as we are here. What for?" The bachelor's gaze was too naked. The group of them only stared at Chiao Mian, and their gazes were so lewd. Zanbo of course can't stand it. Chiao Mian is the only girl in their team, and she is so beautiful. The person opposite was a single man in his 40s who couldn't even find a wife. Seeing Chiao Mian was like a hungry wolf seeing a fat sheep. Jean Bo immediately became protective and determined to protect Chiao Mian. Chiao Mian felt even warmer after hearing his words. Jean Bo gave her the same feeling as Chiao Chen. He is a very caring and sensible brother. This, Mr. Chen, Jean Bo frowned when he saw that the bachelor was still looking at him, and said while holding back his temper, "We are here to help you clean the house. Could you please help us now, doing hygiene?" With Jean Bo in the way, Chen Lao-san couldn't see Chiao Mian for a while. His face was a little dark, and his tone when talking to Jean Bo was not very good. "A big star will help me clean the house." End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1834. Chapter 1834. Staring straight at her. "Hey, I see you big stars are full and have nothing to do. Isn't this a good thing for me? What kind of hygiene should I do? I don't need it." Jean Bo's expression suddenly changed, and he couldn't hold his nerve in front of the camera. "I mean, Chen Lao-san, why are you so ignorant?" The villager looked at Chen Lao-san and said with disgust, "A big star cleans your house. You don't know how many lifetimes you have earned this blessing. Why are you still here? You can't even live here with my pigs, so you can just enjoy it if someone takes care of it for free." The villagers are not merciful at all. They really dislike Chen Lao-san and feel that such a poor and lazy bachelor is not worthy of living in their village. It brought shame to the people in the village. Chen Lao-san glared at the villager who spoke unkindly, "It has nothing to do with you, just go and join in the fun here." After he finished speaking, he looked at Jean Bo again, his eyes still unkind. "You have to clean up, right? Since you have so much free time, clean up my place a little bit. By the way, I haven't eaten yet, so help me clean up. The meal is done." After the bachelor finished speaking, he turned around and lazily walked into the house again. Damn, what kind of attitude is this? Renjun complained in a low voice in anger. I have never seen someone so confident in instructing others to do work. We are here to help, and we are not the workers he hired. How can he be like this? Ah! If it hadn't been arranged by the program team, I wouldn't want to help such a person. What can you do to help such a person? Typically, even if you help him, he will take it for granted and not be grateful. Sumuafi was very angry after hearing what the bachelor said. Today I almost want to give up on this task. Forget it. Jiao Mian sighed softly and advised, we won't have any interaction with him in the future, so just endure it today. We just need to finish cleaning, and don't worry about the rest. Well, let's listen to the team leader. Jeanbo nodded. If you complete the task early, you can leave early. Let's hurry up. Sumuafi curled his lips and said, I'm afraid I won't be able to finish the cleaning in one day. I'd rather dig another 100 kilograms of lotus roots than do this job. But after all, after complaining, a group of people rolled up their sleeves and started working. Jiao Mian originally thought that the outside of the room was dirty enough, but when she walked into the house, she immediately felt like she had walked into a large garbage dump. Everywhere is dark. There was a thick layer of dust on the table. Just to wipe the furniture, she had to change no less than 20 basins of water before she could barely wipe it clean. Some old dirt cannot be washed away no matter how hard you clean it. While Jiao Mian was scrubbing the furniture in the room, she felt the gaze that made her very uncomfortable again. She turned her head and saw the bachelor staring directly at her. The room was dimly lit, and the bachelor stood with his back to the light. His green bean eyes staring at her were like those of a hungry wolf, and their eyes were glowing green. Jiao Mian was startled, and her expression suddenly changed. The bachelor looked at her reaction, smiled, and then turned around and walked into another room. Mian, are you okay? Jeanbo came over, glanced in the direction the bachelor left, and frowned. Is that wretched old man staring at you again? Forget it, I'll stay with you. I think he has bad intentions. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1835. Chapter 1835, So tired that I have no love left. I'm fine. Jiao Mian thought of the way the bachelor looked at her just now, and suddenly thought of the stalker she met in the town that night. She had no idea what the stalker looked like. But the way the bachelor stared at her gave her the same feeling as the stalker in the town. It all made her feel creepy. Asterisk. It took Jiao Mian and the others almost a whole day for the 5 of them to finish cleaning. After waiting, everyone was so tired that they didn't even want to eat and just wanted to lie down on the bed. But at night, Jiao Mian still endured her exhaustion and cooked for several boys in her group. The tomato omelette noodles she made were so delicious to a group of extremely hungry people that there was almost no soup left. After eating and getting her cell phone back from Zhao Yuan, Jiao Mian took a picture of her slumped on the bed, lifeless. Jiao Mian v, it's been a very fulfilling day, and I'm so exhausted that I don't even want to move my fingers. She posted it on Weibo. Soon, hundreds of replies were received. It can be seen that you are really exhausted, you have a hopeless expression on your face, ha ha ha. Sumuafi and Zanbo also posted on Weibo just now, saying that they were almost exhausted. So, what kind of mode have you experienced today? Am I the only one who has different concerns? Sister Mian seems to be without makeup. She is so beautiful without makeup. Her appearance is really durable. I also discovered it among a group of female celebrities participating in the show. Only Shenfei and Mian are barefaced, while the others wear makeup. However, Mian is also very beautiful without makeup, and she looks more innocent and youthful without makeup. I am a fan of Mian just because of her appearance. This appearance is really invincible. I dare say that there are definitely no more than 10 female stars in the entertainment industry who dare to leave the country without makeup like her. And other female stars have no makeup. It's very different from makeup, only Mian Mian is equally beautiful whether she is without makeup or with makeup. The people upstairs should be more modest and don't bring other female stars to slander Mian Mian. Now the sunspots are staring at Mian Mian all day long. If something goes wrong, they will immediately find her and slander her. We Mian Mian Bing should keep a low profile. Hug sister Mian Mian, come on, we Mian Mian Bing will always support you. Within minutes of Xiao Mian Mian's Weibo being posted, there were thousands of comments. Every time she posts on Weibo, the number of comments and retweets increases are similar to those of first-tier artists. Someone said in the comment area, the Water Army hired a lot of people. An 18th-tier star has made himself as popular as a first-tier star. Don't you know how much he weighs? It's different to have a funder's father as the backstage. I heard that the media outlets that published the news yesterday were sued, and they were said to be sued for spreading rumors. The sponsor's father is really kind to Xiao Baiao. He doesn't even mind when she flirts with men outside and supports her. I don't know what kind of ecstasy soup Xiao Baiao gave to the sponsor's father. Pulling you with ecstasy soup, I think it's a service. It is said that men are easy to talk to when they are satisfied in certain aspects. Xiao can make her father, the sponsor, not afraid of the risk of cuckolding and still treat her so well. She must be very good at kung fu. You guys should stop talking nonsense. Let Xiao see it, and let the sponsor's dad block your account soon. Careful netizens discovered that after a while, the accounts of the few people who were jumping around in Xiao Mianmian's comment area were actually banned. The two previous contents have been updated to those from yesterday and have been replaced. You can see the replaced contents by refreshing them. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1836. Chapter 1836. Find out who is behind the scenes. Click on their accounts and all of them will show that they have been logged out. Ha 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 ha, he asked for benevolence and got benevolence. He was really banned. I was laughing so hard. Well done. I just want to know if Mr. Mo did it. If so, this domineering wife protecting mode is too sweet. Asterisk. At the same time, in the president's office of Moshi building. Mr. Mo, we have blocked all the accounts that attacked Madam Young. The information of those black men has also been found out. It is determined that they are the trolls hired by someone to blackmail Madam Young on the internet. Continue to check further. The man at the desk has a handsome and stern appearance, and his face is so gloomy that it is about to drip with water. Find out who is behind this. Yes, Mr. Mo. These sunspot numbers will be sealed one by one from now on. Yes, Mr. Mo, I will let people keep an eye on them. If anyone finds out, their account will be blocked. Mo. Yes, he stretched out his hand and rubbed his eyebrows. Okay, go out. Have someone make me a cup of coffee. Mr. Mo, do you want to continue working overtime? Wei Zheng hesitated and said, some things can be done tomorrow. Mr. Mo, you have been busy all day, so you should go back and rest early. No, everything must be done today. Mo. Yes, he raised his head and looked at him. You help me book a flight to Ningcheng tomorrow afternoon. I will finish some things that need to be handled by me today, and leave the rest. Just deal with it with the vice president tomorrow. Wei Zheng was stunned for a moment. Mr. Mo, are you going to Ningcheng tomorrow? Mo. Yes, he was not very relieved about Xiao Mian, even though she repeatedly said that everything was fine. Even though he didn't see it with his own eyes, he was still worried. I see. Wei Zheng thought to himself that no wonder Mr. Mo had to work overtime today. It turned out that he wanted to work overtime to finish the work and go to Ningcheng to see the young lady tomorrow. Speaking of which, Mr. Mo is really clinging to the young lady. The young lady has only been gone for 2 days, and Mr. Mo is about to fly over to find her. In other places, women are always clinging to men. When it comes to their boss, Mr. Mo, it turns out that the man is clinging to the woman. But on the other hand, the young lady is really happy to be married to such a dedicated and affectionate man like Mr. Mo. After Wei Zheng left the office, Mo Yesi took out his mobile phone and sent a video invitation to Chiao Mian Mian. Asterisk. Chiao Mian Mian had just finished taking a shower and was lying on the bed when she saw the screen of her mobile phone light up. After she connected it, the man on the screen stared at her for a few seconds and said in a low voice, "Did you just take a shower?" Chiao Mian Mian had just washed her hair and used a hairdryer to blow it to about 70% to 80% dryness. Her hair was still a little damp. "Why don't you blow dry your hair? You might catch a cold. Are there cameras in your room filming you?" Chiao Mian Mian looked around and shook her head. "No, it's turned off. Filming is not done 24 hours a day. Every night after 9 o'clock, all indoor cameras are turned off. Artists also need some private time. Baby, I miss you." After knowing that there were no cameras filming, the man's tone became even lower, and he spoke intoxicating words of love without any scruples. "Baby, you're not by my side, and I haven't slept well in the past 2 days." Even though they are an old couple, Chiao Mian Mian still feels a little hot on her face when she hears this. Fortunately, the cameras have been turned off. "Baby, do you miss me?" The man in the video has deep eyes, and his eyes are dark, as if they are the deep sea at night, which can draw people into his eyes. Well, I thought about it. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1837. Chapter 1837. If I had known this, I would not have allowed you to go. Chiao Mian Mian knew what he wanted to hear. Sure enough, the corners of the man's lips curled up slightly. "Have you really thought about it?" "Yeah, really." Chiao Mian Mian nodded heavily. "I really want to." The smile on the man's lips deepened. "I saw the Weibo you just posted. What did you do today to make you so tired?" Mo Yesi only follows Chiao Mian Mian on Weibo. So as soon as Chiao Mian Mian posted a new update on Weibo, he would know it immediately. Chiao Mian Mian couldn't help but complain to him, "The program team arranged for us to clean the poor households in the village. You don't even know how dirty the poor households' homes are. The 5 of us spent a whole day. I was so exhausted that I cleaned his house. He is so lazy. No wonder he is still single in his 40s and no woman wants to marry him." Wait a moment. In the video, the man frowned and interrupted Chiao Mian Mian, who was complaining to him. Chiao Mian Mian blinked and looked at him doubtfully. "What's wrong? You just said that there are still single men in their 40s in the village where you live." "Yes." The man frowned even more tightly. "Why didn't you tell me before?" Chiao Mian Mian was stunned. "I didn't know that before." "What's wrong? Is there any problem?" Of course there is a problem. In the video, the man's handsome face had a serious expression. "The problem is huge. If I had known this was the case, I would not have allowed you to go. You are not safe there at all." Chiao Mian Mian. She opened her mouth, wanting to refute. But when she thought of the wretched bachelor who had been staring at her all day, she suddenly fell silent. Thinking of the bachelor, Chiao Mian Mian felt uncomfortable all over. The feeling of being stared at by a hungry wolf is so terrifying. But after they came back, they already made requests to the program team. "So, I probably won't go to that bachelor's house again in the future." Thinking about it, Chiao Mian Mian felt a little more comfortable. "Husband, don't worry. There are dozens of people in our entire program team, and they all live in the village. There will be no problems. And there are 5 strong boys living in the yard where I live. Nothing will happen. Besides, I promised you that I will take care of myself and protect myself." Just stop worrying, okay? Chiao Mian didn't dare to tell Mo Yesi that she was being stared at by the bachelor all day today. If Mo Yesi knew about it, he would ask her to go back immediately. She still cherishes this opportunity. Although there were 2 or 3 people who made her unhappy, she also made many good friends because of this show. For her, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Mo Yesi still frowned. Your program team also has a problem. Why would you, a girl, go to a bachelor's house? It's not like I went alone, there were others. You are not allowed to go there again, the man said in a strong tone. Even if the program team arranges a task, you are not allowed to go there again, do you hear me? Well, I won't go, seeing the man looking like he wanted to take her back right away. Chiao Mian nodded and agreed. I told the program team when I came back today that I will never go to his house again. You should also pay attention to your own safety. All doors and windows must be closed before going to bed. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1838. Chapter 1838. It's actually Chen Lao-san, the bachelor. Mo Yesi transformed into a mother-in-law and explained in various ways, it's best to buy another lock and put it on the door inside. It will be safer. You can ask the people from the program team to buy it for you tomorrow. Install it. Isn't this good? No one else is pretending, I'm the only one pretending. Other people are other people. It doesn't matter to me what other people do. I only care about my wife. In the past, Chiao Mian might have thought that he was making a fuss out of a molehill. But when she went to the bachelor's house today, Chiao Mian felt a little uneasy. She did not refute Mo Yesi's words. The two chatted for a while and then hung up the video. Chiao Mian jumped off the bed and went to close the window. She slept with the windows open for the past 2 days because she felt that it would be boring to sleep at night if all the windows were closed. But now, she doesn't care whether she is bored or not, everything is about safety. She closed all the windows, checked them again before going to bed, and then went to bed with confidence. Asterisk. At past 3 o'clock in the morning, Chiao Mian woke up from her sleep because of thirst. Moonlight shines in through the thin window. Even if the lights are not turned on in the room, the light is not very dark. Chiao Mian was just about to get up and pour a glass of water when she suddenly heard a rustling sound, which sounded like someone was prying open the door. She was startled and immediately woke up. She opened her eyes and looked towards the door. The door lock of the house in the village was a wooden stake bolted to it. Chiao Mian saw the wooden stake blocking the door moving. Someone is really prying at the door. Chiao Mian's frightened heart almost jumped out of her chest, but she quickly calmed down. She quickly got out of bed, walked lightly to a shelf, and took a vase from it. Then he slowly walked to the door with gentle steps, waiting for the person who pried the door to enter the house. The person who pried the door was obviously experienced. He fiddled with the wooden bolt for a few seconds, and the door was opened. The person outside the door opened the door gently. The moonlight immediately shone in, and when the person who opened the door tiptoed in, Chiao Mian gasped in her heart. It's actually Chen Lao-san, the bachelor. Even though she hadn't seen clearly what the person who walked in looked like, looking at the figure and the clothes she was wearing, Chiao Mian was sure at a glance that the person who pried open the door was Chen Lao-san. During the day, she only felt that Chen Lao-san was squinting, and the way he looked at her was disgusting. She didn't expect that Chen Lao-san would be so bold as to come to her room door in the middle of the night. There are other people living in this courtyard. Chiao Mian looked at the dirty man who had slipped into her room, hiding quietly behind the door and holding the vase on her phone tightly. After the man entered the room, he was probably so impatient that he even forgot to close the door, so he went straight to the only bed in the room. He walked to the bed. Chiao Mian saw that his hands were trembling with excitement and reached out to lift the quilt on the bed. When he saw that there was no one under the quilt, he seemed to be stunned. At this time, Chiao Mian walked behind him. Chen Laosan didn't notice it at all. When he turned his head to look for Chiao Mian raised the vase in his hand without hesitation and smashed it on his head. He heard a scream, and blood flowed down Chen Laosan's forehead. His eyes widened, and his eyes widened even more when he saw Chiao Mian standing behind him. Then he rolled his eyes and fell straight to the ground. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1839. Chapter 1839. I have long realized that something is wrong with him. Chiao Mian's heart was beating fast. She took a deep breath, took 2 steps back, turned around and walked out of the house quickly. The scream made by Chen Laosan and the sound of the glass bottle falling to the ground soon alerted other people in the yard. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I just heard someone screaming, what's going on? The sound seems to be coming from Chiao Mian's house. Let's go over and have a look. Zhanbo and Sumufei rushed in front, both with worried expressions on their faces, worried that something might happen to Chiao Mian. As they hurried over, they saw Chiao Mian in pajamas walking out of the house. Chiao Mian, are you okay? Zhanbo rushed forward and looked at Chiao Mian from head to toe. After making sure that she was okay, he breathed a sigh of relief. Sumufei looked inside her room, frowned and said, what's going on? We seem to have heard someone screaming just now. Is it the sound coming from your room? Well, it was the sound coming from my room. Chiao Mian nodded. Someone sneaked into my room, and I knocked him unconscious. The scream just now was made by that person. Zhanbo. Sumufei. A group of people following. Someone sneaked into your room. Who was it? Zhanbo quickly realized the seriousness of the matter and looked at Chiao Mian's carefully. Are you okay? That person didn't hurt you, right? I'm fine. Chiao Mian was glad that she drank less water at night. She only woke up from thirst in the middle of the night and realized that someone was prying at the door of her room. If she slept soundly, she didn't know what would happen. I feel scared just thinking about it. Mian, someone sneaked into your room. Shenfei also came over wearing a nightgown. She said with a serious look on her face. The scream we just heard was a man's voice. He sneaked into your room. Yes, it's a man. Yeah, Chiao Mian nodded. The expression on Shenfei's face became more serious. She said solemnly, it's terrible that something like this could happen. Who is that man? Before Chiao Mian could speak, Zhanbo said with a stern expression, is it that Chen Lao-san? Yeah, Chiao Mian nodded, it's him. It's really him. This old bachelor has been staring at you all day today. I've long noticed that something is wrong with him. I didn't expect him to be so bold as to sneak into your room. Which old bachelor? Is he the one we went to help clean today? It's that Yakuza, Zhanbo said angrily. He has been staring at Mian for a long time. Holy shit, Sumufei's expression changed. Is he crazy? He is so courageous. But Mian, you are too powerful, you actually knocked him out. Chiao Mian nodded. Before she said anything, Chen Lao-san's head was covered with blood. No, this matter must be reported to the police. Go and wake Zhao Yuan immediately and ask the program team to call the police. Okay, I'll go right away. Renjun turned around and went to find Zhao Yuan. Is that Yakuza still in your room now? Zhanbo asked. Well, he fainted. Waiting for a group of people to follow Chiao Mian into the house, Chiao Mian turned on the light and saw Chen Lao-san lying on the ground with his face covered in blood. Chiao Angzan and Song Ke both covered their mouths and screamed. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1840. Chapter 1840. She is really unwilling. Xiao Xiao's face turned a little pale and was frightened. Jiao Mian, did you kill someone? Song Ke looked at Jiao Mian in horror, his eyes full of fear. Others also had surprised expressions on their faces when they saw Chen Laosan lying motionless on the ground with his face covered in blood. They thought that when Jiao Mian said knocking someone unconscious, they just meant knocking people unconscious. No one would have thought that it would be such a scene. Zanbo looked at the girl next to him. She is a weak woman who looks innocent and weak, with no strength to restrain a chicken. At first glance, she looks like the kind of woman who needs protection. But she... How can you actually make a grown man like Chen Laosan like this? Zanbo is a little doubtful about life. He swallowed. Mian, what are you doing? What's wrong with this person? He can't really. He's not dead. Jiao Mian looked at a room full of frightened people and said in a calm voice, he was just knocked unconscious. I hit his head with a vase. If I hadn't hit him harder, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to knock him out. It will irritate him instead. As the eldest person in the group, Shenfei was also the fastest to calm down. She stepped forward to take a look, and then said, let's get the person out first, and then clean the room. We have to contact the hospital in the town and send the person to the hospital in a while. What, do you want to send this old pervert to the hospital? Sumufei couldn't understand and shouted, this kind of old pervert will die when he dies. He killed the harm for the people at that time. Why should he be sent to the hospital? It's no pity for such a person to die. However, if he really dies, Mian will be in trouble. Shenfei glanced at everyone, he has committed a crime and can be handed over to the police. Sister Fei is right, no matter how the old bachelor is, we can't let him really die. It's no pity that he died, but we don't want to implicate Mian. Let's take the person out first. Asterisk. The follow-up progress is very fast. The person in charge of the program called the police and found out that something happened to the star of the TV station filming the program. The police came out quickly and took Chen Laosan away in less than an hour. Seeing Chen Laosan being carried into the police car by the police, Qiao Angzhen's eyes flashed with disappointment. How come Qiao Mian, a little bitch, is so lucky? It would be great if she was really defiled by Chen Laosan. From now on, this will not be clean anymore. Mo Yesi will definitely dislike her by then. How could a man of Mo Yesi's status be willing to want a woman who had been defiled by a dirty and smelly old bachelor? If this matter spreads, the little won't be able to hold her head high in front of others. The more Qiao Angzhen thought about it, the more pity she felt. Soon, the police car drove away. Qiao Angzhen watched Qiao Mian being surrounded by Zhanbo, Sumufei, and others. Everyone seemed to care about her, and strong jealousy emerged from her heart uncontrollably. That's it again. Every time she was with Qiao Mian, she would be completely ignored. Qiao Mian has become the person who attracts the most attention. She is obviously not bad either. But why, that little Qiao Mian always steals the limelight? She is really unwilling. Qiao Angzhen clenched her fists. She looked at Qiao Mian's delicate and picturesque profile, and a vicious thought flashed through her mind. Although Chen Laosan did not succeed, there are things that do not necessarily have to succeed before anyone will believe them. End of this chapter.